And today we're starting our podcast episode on talking about how the government is finally phasing out dyes in food. And so we just wanted to get a discussion and our opinion on that point, and even, like we said before, getting your opinion in the comments. I think it's great that they're finally getting rid of dyes in food. I feel it's long overdue, and it'll help many Americans be able to get better health and also not feel like we're being poisoned into like cancer or many other diseases that come and get developed when you're having so much dye in your food.
Yes, I definitely agree. I think that we should start and go over it. So, from what we understand, is the United States has took actions on banning and highly restricting certain food items that have dye in them at first, and now they are really taking it into gear and they are getting rid of dyes in our food. So, there's an interesting point on that into all the different dyes that they are getting rid of.
Yes, and there's a lot of dyes. We could go through the list for you. We do have them available, but just to kind of harp on, especially if there's like 90s kids in the comments, a lot of our favorite foods. I don't know how everybody felt about like hot Cheetos or Mountain Dew. Those are some of those items that are no longer going to be
Skittles.
allowed in our Skittles too. And there's probably a lot out there that has dyes in it that we just didn't pay attention to, and or our parents didn't pay attention to, that we've been having for years, and we're just noticing, or just, I guess I wouldn't say just noticing. Some people have known that they're problematic food, and there's just nothing we could do about it.
So, from what we've done our research is like, and what we've been seeing online, and I'm sure everybody else has, or on the news, is they are getting rid of several synthetic food dyes. And these are going to include red number 3, citrus red number 2, orange B, green number 3, red number 40, yellow number 5, yellow number 6, blue number 1, and blue number 2. So if you look at that, that is a lot of synthetic dyes to be in our food. So getting rid of those is only going to help people. It's not going to hurt them from my point of view.
And so something also just to harp on that may or may not deal with the dyes in some way is also, this should have been something that was done years ago. When we talk about like our food against other food in other countries, it's kind of disappointing in a lot of ways, the amount that they take care of their food out of the country compared to how we take care of our food in America. And I'm not blaming everybody in itself, but I'm just saying the comparison can make you feel like, man, are we actually being poisoned? Like, because a lot of these things, like kidney disease, cancer is in a lot of this stuff. You can get cancer from having too much dye in your diet, a lot of diseases, and some could be, part of this over too much dye in our food just to make it taste good. And some of it don't even taste good, if we're being honest. It's just something we had as children, and it just, like, it's like habit almost to just go and have it again and again. And also another food that maybe 90s babies love, and maybe even before then, would be Twinkies. And most people probably don't know that Twinkies have red dye in them.
Yeah, if you look on the box of almost any food nowadays that's like a snack, even pudding has dye in them. And it's insane to think about that the same dye that they dye our clothes with or put in hair dye or put on, in makeup that we're consuming, we're eating. And, people are giving their children this or grandchildren. We have no idea. But people have tended to catch on with what these dyes can cause throughout the years. And this has been going on for the past, I don't know, I would say probably 20 to 30 years. People have finally caught on what they can cause, and then it's caused them to do research. And that's why we're phasing it out. We have, also, if we didn't reiterate, this is in the United States, and not every state in the United States has. I would say California has been the first one to do away with red dye, number three. So that's been out. California's a little bit more ahead of other states in the United States. So I just want to reiterate that they have banned certain things in California that they have not in other states, and they're now just going to take that seriously. And from my understanding, by the end of next year, we should be phased out of all these dyes, these six synthetic dyes.
Also, it's a weird thing also to say that all the states in America are not on the same page with getting rid of these dyes altogether as like a full country. When I'm talking about that is before, the announcement was made that they're phasing it out in America. I find it weird that governors couldn't all get on the same page to get rid of these dyes to help America be healthy again. And I mean healthy as a country. And we are the country with the most obesity, and we're finally looking into getting our food and our drinks healthier. When I think that should have been focused on years ago. If we're the fattest country, then there's something wrong. That probably means we're not going to have a lot of people live past their 60s, 70s, when the rate for, other countries, people are living to 100 and they're completely fine. And like they're dying naturally, while people over here are dying from being too obese or from diseases that they've caught from eating too much of the same food, or even cancer at this point. It's just too much happening in America for us to be such a great country and to be just catching on to some of these things. I feel like we should have been on game with a lot of this already. It's kind of
Well, and thanks
disappointing.
to California, not to butt in, but thanks to California, we've seen now on the back of our foods that they'll have a cancer warning. That if it wasn't for California's cancer warning, we wouldn't see those on our foods. We wouldn't get to see that. Like if you look at bread now that's sold in the store, it says that if you put it in the toaster, it can cause cancer. If you toast your bread, it can cause cancer. There's something wrong. But I'm glad we're getting started and it's starting somewhere. Like I realized that, the new person in FDA, which is Robert F. Kennedy, um, they're going to, he's really taking this serious. I understand a lot of people don't like him, and I'm not here to go into politics, but I'm glad somebody's finally taking this serious to better the health of the next generation coming in, such as our kids or our grandkids, because being parents ourselves, we don't want our kids to end up with cancer or lifelong diseases that are contributed to these dyes being in their food. So if we're starting here, that's a blessing.
It's definitely a good for change and good for our country. I'm all in on being American. Just to clarify, we do love our country. We're not beating up on America. We're just saying that we are, and we've always been the best country, and we need to just get back on track with being that. And so, once again, we're not biased when it comes to RFK and this specific administration. We are just happy that at least somebody's trying to get rid of things. I'm not going to say that I agree with everything that he's doing or disagree with everything that he's doing, but this specific point with phasing out dyes in food in America, I think is something that we should all be happy with for our kids and our grandkids and our great grandkids to live longer lives and healthier lives at the end of the day. So, stay away from fast food places. That's really important, just to put that out there.
Yes.
They don't care about dyes. They don't care about it. If as long as it tastes good, they're gonna put it out, and it fattens you up, it closes up your arteries, causes a lot of issues. Look at the back of boxes, look at the back of bread, look at the back of everything that has it on there, because you just want to be what you're putting in your body is very important. Most people don't know that, like, even down to your skin, it's like an organism. It's live. So what you put in your body is what you're gonna get out of it at the end of the day. So it's really, really important, whatever you're putting in there, to understand that like your body's gonna function with what you're putting in there. You put in Mountain Dew and Red Bull every day, you're probably gonna have just some health issues at the end of the day because that's just not good for you.
Yes, definitely. I agree. It's not good for you, and we live in it. And I agree with the United States stuff, but we do unfortunately live in a country where we've learned to question everything. And so that's why this is coming up, and it's such an importance now when somebody's going to make a change. There are so many other countries that like don't have these issues that are banned these things long ago and or never used these things in their food. So it's nice to be finally catching up. It's nice to finally have people care about the children. Um, from what I was researching is that in 1900 there were more than 80 dyes used to color our foods. That is insane. That there was that many dyes in the 1900s to color our foods when there's so many more natural things you can do to color our foods. Like I see that pink, you can get pink from strawberries and raspberries. This is you could make cake dye for this, for like your frosting. Or red, you can use beets, cherries, tomatoes, oranges, color orange. You can or use like carrots, sweet potatoes, and paprika mixed together that can create the color orange. Yellow, saffron, and turmeric create yellow. Green, matcha and spinach, they will create the color green depending on how dark or light you want it. I mean, blue is if you put red cabbage plus baking soda, it equals blue. So these are just, amongst research. There's purple is blueberries, sweet potatoes. And if you want the color brown, you can use coffee, tea, and cocoa. So there is just a multitude of things. That's just a small example of all the things you can use that are healthy to color our food or to make it more vibrant if that's what you need to do. There's such a healthier form out there.
And so pretty much in short, you're eating crayons if you just decide to continue to go down that rabbit hole. So like I guess if you're a gamer and you play Destiny, you're a Titan because you just continue to eat crayons, and that's why there's no growth at the end of the day. So keep the crayons out of your mouth and pick up some other food. Like she said, there's tons of ways to make dyes, healthy, stuff that you can eat and feel self-sufficient and get the same taste of. The same goodness can come naturally compared to the crap that they're stuffing with dyes and with grease and just there's so much stuff that is better for your body. Um, good old saying that your body is a temple just rings true when it comes to health because it truly is, you know. Like I said before, what you get in is what you're going to get out. But there is one thing I want to add, a conspiracy theory at the end of this. So there's this commercial with KFC where it's creepy. So just warning, it is creepy that these people are like marching and they put a guy in grease and when they pull him out, he's a chicken. KFC owns three restaurants, or two technically, if you don't count KFC. KFC, Pizza Hut, and Taco Bell. So people are starting to say you need to look up a movie. I forget the name of it, but it's something grass, where they're saying that they put human in the meat, and that's probably worse than putting dye. So just food for thought.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I said
and we
food.
can go into that another time too. We would definitely will do a segment on all those things that I believe that need to be talked about, such as hot dogs. A lot of people don't talk about that.
Yeah,
But
it says it on the bag too, by the way. Just look at the back of the bag of hot dogs. You'll
I'm
understand
gonna
after.
explain to you really quick. And I mean, you guys can do your own research if you would like, but like exactly what red dye will cause. So,
Animals gone wild.
yes, I think we went 1 second. Sorry, I'm in the middle of research while we're on here. Okay. So
Ye.
red number three, and this is easy of like you can just go on Google and it will tell you. So it says right here, along the other impairments in thyroid hormone function, red number three increases the risk of related disorders. Several animal studies have linked red number three to thyroid dysfunction and cancer. So that in itself, that's just the first thing on this list. We're gonna go to, citrus red number two. The citrus nut red number two you don't hear about very often. So it's a new one to even like see unless you've been doing research. And I just can't believe when you look at what these cause, it's just sad. It's sad that we're eating these things. So citrus red number two, which is currently only for coloring skins of oranges, not used for processing, is toxic to rodents at moderate levels and cause tumors in urinary dear, bladder, and possible other organs. Sorry about that. So that's, yeah, it's just the list goes on. Red number 40 has been linked to freaking the ADHD. I don't know if people know that. It's been linked to ADHD and hyperactivity disorder, or just even if it's not ADHD, it's been known to throw off your mind and cause you to kind of be hyperactive and all over the place. There is yellow number 5, and I know one of the yellows is bad for your eyesight. So,
Number 6.
yeah, it can cause like early blindness. So
Ye.
red number 40 is causes hyperactivity, including ADHD, behavioral changes like irritability and depression, allergic reactions. So a lot of people are allergic to red dye, which I found out throughout the last couple of years. I got a tattoo with red in it, and my whole body went on the freaking fritz. So when I eliminated red dye from my diet, I stopped getting hives as much as I used to. So that's been an interesting process as well. So it can cause allergic reactions, hives and asthma, sneezing, watery eyes, skin irritation, and migraines. So I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but that is insane to me how bad this stuff is for us. I guess it shouldn't be. It's just sad that we have to have this in our food to me, and I hope that things change
All
like
we're
better.
asking for is change.
Yeah, keep getting better. And
Ye.
if anybody has any input, like don't be afraid to put it in our comments. We're not perfect, but we just want to get this like conversation, we want to get a conversation started. So it's red number 5 or yellow number 5. That's what they're banning as well. Itching and hives in some people. This color is an additive and widely found in foods, in beverages, desserts, candies, breakfast cereals, drugs, and makeup.
So we're just giving you just this is not even this is like a very broad example. These aren't even like everything. This is technically like
No, I'm just
some.
going over the dyes that I guess we already know that they're for sure doing away with. So, like, I'm on yellow 6. That's on the list of ones that they're getting away with too. And so it says causes tumors and adrenal gland and kidney of the adrenal gland and the kidney. You should never be ingesting something that is known to cause tumors anywhere. Um, Nobody wants a tumor. So I sure as heck don't. That would be weird to want that, but that's, I guess, up to you.
Definitely up to you. Ye.
No judgment.
None. I mean, we're listening. We're not gonna judge. Maybe when you're not looking, but when we're face to face, we're good, solid. So we've gone over a lot of information. I
Well,
want you
I'm
to
not
take a
almost done. There's two more I want to go over, which is blue number one and blue number two. And then I will be done talking about all the things that they can cause. Just want people to have their research and be able to know exactly why they're banning them and why it's important, because I know a lot of people hear RFK and they think, oh, this guy's a conspiracy theorist. And I mean, everything they've heard. But like, if you just take that man out of it, somebody was going to do this, even if it wasn't him. And I'm just glad it's being done. So if you can put your mind in a different place and, see the reasoning behind it, and that's all I'm trying to put out there is why it's a good thing, and give you guys the reasoning behind it so that you can take that part of who is causing it to be, helping it be banned, and just take him out of it. So it says that blue number one includes neurotoxicity, hyperactivity in children, allergic reactions, cancer organ damage, fertility problems, and genetic defects. That's only blue dye. Now we know that blue dye is in quite a bit of things. So, and now it says blue number two has chemical cause an increased incidence of tumors in rats. So they did test blue number two on rats. Um, says developmental delays and behavioral difficulties and issues with the nervous system. So that is all of the dyes that I have down here, because it does say at this time that they're only going to do away with the six dyes, I think it says over here at this time. And I know they're talking about like certain other things, but right now that's where it is. So they're getting phased out. These dyes are going to get phased out of by it says that they have a deadline of 2020 to 2027 to 2028 for final removal, but that citrus red number two and orange B will be phased out within the coming months. By the end of next year, you will no longer see it in our foods. So these six synthetic dyes should be gone. And that is amazing to me. That I'm super grateful for. I think that anybody who wants to live should be happy for that, or love somebody who, maybe they wanted to know the research on these things. I don't know. There's many ways to find your research. I mean, like, we live in a time where you can ask Gemini, Siri, Google, any of that, and it's all going to be right there. Or go to a bookstore, go get a book, go do your own research like we did. You know, I pulled it all up on here because I don't have it right in front of me, but I love to learn about this stuff. So I'm glad we're touching bases on it. Definitely, there's so much that just is skin crawling. Like, why are they feeding us stuff that can cause us cancer? If they, and me and Daryl were talking about this earlier, is that like the birth rates are down in America from what they're saying. But why are we being fed poisonous food and expect to have children? That's insane to me. That is crazy on 1,000 different levels to say, here, we're going to give you this food that's toxic and it's got toxins in it, but we want you to have babies. So, I mean, if like he was touching bases on Mountain Dew earlier. There's so much crap in Mountain Dew that we've heard about as millennials since we were teenagers that would lower sperm count. One of the chemicals in Mountain Dew is called niacin. Look it up when you get a chance. I'm not going to do that right now. I've already done a lot of that, but there's just so many things that people have consumed that would cause these issues that are arising in the world. So, where do you what do you fit into with this?
um to be honest with you, you know a lot more about this stuff than I do. So In the end, I just say be healthy. Watch what you're putting in your body, like I said earlier, but also try and do your research. Try and get an understanding of what you're putting in your body and maybe see if there's a healthy alternative to any of that. There may be a way to enjoy the food that you love and it be healthy. But Mountain Dew's probably there's no way to do that one. And like hot Cheetos and
Oh,
there's some out there that won't last. I'm sorry to tell some of you.
oh, I wanted to butt in really quick. If you are looking for an alternative dye and say you want to start using alternative dyes for cakes, etc., and you don't want to take the time to make your own dye, that's okay. You can use Amazon. I guarantee you, you have natural grocery stores in your city or state, somewhere close to you, or a real food store. These places will have the ingredients you need to use. And it's super simple. You don't have to sit and, you know, dry a beet out to get beetroot powder on your own to create the, red dye. You've got all the resources around you if you decide to start doing that.
Visit your local natural stores. Go inside. Find what you need. Eat right. Trust me, it's the right thing to do. I know stuff. Not a lot of stuff, but I know stuff, so be careful. Dropping knowledge on you guys. Take it with you. Einstein level knowledge. Just want to let you know.
Well, I actually
Sound
have this book that my mom got me, and it's like a consumer's dictionary of food additives. It says descriptions in plain English, more than 12,000 ingredients, both harmful and desirable, found in foods. That's a lot to go through, but that is got all you need to know if you want to know more about this that we haven't discussed, or maybe you do know more and you want to tell us maybe things we don't know. That'd be cool too. But we're not, trying to get into politics, so we do want to make that clear is that's not a conversation we're wanting to have. Do we agree with all the things going on? No. Do we disagree with all the things going on? No. I think we're in a really neutral spot, so we don't want to get into that topic with people. But we will get into these type of topics, and we're excited to continue to do more. Excited to continue to talk about more. I think next week we might go into, possibly Mandela effects. So that will be interesting. I don't know if anybody knows more about those, but those are super, super cool, super interesting. It's more of a conspiracy theory, but I believe in Mandela effects. I don't know why specifically they happen, but I think it's definitely a really cool thing. Definitely a cool theory. So I'm going to leave it
burn.
at that. Unless you have more to say, I don't want to cut you off.
No, not really. Just remember the word CERN when we think about Mandela effect. They'll go together. Look up CERN. It'll make a lot of sense. But
Don't
on
give
that
away too much.
note, on that note, we can call it a good episode for this week. We appreciate if you're listening. We appreciate if you're commenting. Just know that this is going to continue, and we're looking forward to any commentary. If you don't want to comment or you just want to listen, we appreciate you listening. Um, yeah, just it's a couple
Not
minutes of your
all of,
day.
yeah, exactly. And not all of our podcasts are going to be serious like this one. They're not. We're pretty lighthearted, funny people. So,
So, in closing, have a good week.
yes, have a
Eat
good week.
healthy, yeet daily, and have a good one. Sayonara.
Stay healthy. Bye.